Coaches Connection, connecting you and the greater DMV to local sports programs, as well as the coaches that inspire our local youth.
Welcome, I'm Farrar Tate, and welcome to another edition of Coach Connection, where we connect you to the coaches that's making a difference in our community so that you can participate in so many ways. But let's start with Coach
Scott.
All right, this brother is a Washingtonian. Not only did he graduate, but he came back home to empower other young persons. So, Coach, tell us about what you do.
Okay. Well, my name is Nick Scott. Thank you for the introduction, Mr. Tate. I'm born and raised in Washington, D.C. Went to St. Gabriel's on Illinois Avenue from K through 8. Then went to St. John's College, St. John's College High School, played football, ran track there. Then went to TSU, played football, transferred to Frostburg. Been into athletics my whole life. So basically how I got into track and field is when I left college, I put the sports down for a couple years just because, you know, just the disappointment from not taking it to the next level. So I said, I'm going to leave sports alone. Just went to get a regular day job, worked at Enterprise, rented a car for a couple years. And then my oldest daughter, she went to DC Prep Middle School. It's over there by Rhode Island Avenue subway station.
I remember DC Prep, yes.
Exactly. So she ran track there, and I just sit and just watch. And the track coach asked me to come out one day. I came out to help out, just being a parent / coach. And things just went from there. So
we kept pulling me back, pulling me back. I love it. It took your daughter to say, run with me, run with me.
Right. So once I got back into it with her, I helped for DC Prep for a couple years, and then I saw the kids I was working with. They didn't really have an opportunity. They never travel for them was going to Kings Dominion. Or going to Baltimore. So what I did was, it was really important for me because why I loved track and field when I was a kid was not so much for the sport, but just for the opportunity to compete and to interact with friends, but more importantly to travel and see things I've never seen before.
Yes, Coach.
So the first year we actually we took the kids down to Florida to the ESPN Disney facility, and they participated down there. Then we went to Detroit, Michigan. So the main reason I got into coaching, the main reason I came back into DC and dealing with the youth in DC is I just want to give them an opportunity to compete at the highest level against kids, and it doesn't matter whether it's track, guitar, tennis, just an opportunity to compete against the kids at the highest level, because that's going to give you confidence for the rest of your life and actually travel and see new things and meet new people.
Got it, Coach. And now, once again, tell us the name of the team that you're coaching.
It's DC Select Track and Field Club. We are located at Banneker High School.
All right.
Right across the street from Howard University. That's where we practice. Okay. The season runs from, I'm gonna say, early May and through the first week of August, where we finish with the Junior Olympics.
So if there's someone out here that wants to say, I want to help, how do we reach you? Is there a telephone number? Is there a website?
There is email is the best way. So
email.
So I'm gonna be honest with Mr. Tate. It's called DC Select for a reason. Like we've been in business since 2018. We did a little bit 2017, but 2018 we were fully, up to our knees with it, really putting our money, putting our time into it.
Yes, Coach.
And by putting our money into our time into it, me and my wife, who helps me tremendously.
All right, family affair.
We decided that it was going to be a selective situation. And when selective, we're not talking about money, we're not talking about social economic background. We're strictly speaking on, do you mesh and you come with a positive attitude? Got it. You know what I mean? We're speaking parents, we're speaking kids, and do you work hard? Because me and my wife, we're out here for free. Okay. So I always tell the kids and the parents, you have, even though I don't require any monetary compensation, I require blood, sweat, and tears. So if you're not out here giving me as much effort as I'm giving you, then that is real. And a lot of times, people think it's all about money. It's not.
But having the belief to work hard for what you believe in is so important. So tell us, give us the telephone number, give us the email, because I know there are people out here who are going to watch this show who are going to say, I totally understand what Coach is talking about. I can be committed also as an adult to support you and what you're doing to help these young persons reach levels, because you're not just keeping them in DC, you're letting them see the world. So tell us the email and the telephone number.
The email is dcselecttrackclub@gmail.com. The phone number is 202-760-8552.
Now, I hope that out there y'all heard. See, it was his daughter that got him running again, right? But it's his wife that keeps him running.
No.
Sustaining again. So it's a family event.
It really is. So all three of my daughters run, and my wife, like I said, like as far as all the track and field, on-field stuff, that's all me. I take care of all of it. But all the stuff outside of the track, like the uniforms, the booking of hotels, transportation, I couldn't do without her. She plays as much a part as I do.
It's family affair. And you talked about the young ladies, the young girls that run with you. Give us the kind of makeup of how have this program impacted the young persons that participated, as athletes under your guidance, Coach?
So playing football my whole life, I've only really been around male athletes. But coming into the track and field world and dealing with my daughters, it just happened that even though we are a co-ed squad, the majority of my kids are girls, and the best kids on my teams are girls. So it's been you asked me what I've given the kids. To be honest, they've given me more than I've given them. Like just to interact with young ladies athletically and see their potential and see how they are. I don't want to make a controversial statement, but how in a lot of terms, in a lot of kids' situations, they are mentally tougher than the male counterpart.
Okay.
It's definitely been a pleasure, you know what I mean? Okay. And treating them like athletes, like treating a female athlete like an athlete, and not sitting there saying and treating her, how do I want to say, not coaching her as hard as I would coach a male athlete. So just equality, man. Just seeing that men and female athletes, male and female athletes are the same, and just it's taught me a lot.
Well, that leads me into your coaching philosophy or style.
Okay.
Tell us about the ages, and then give us an idea. You don't have to give all your trade secrets because we know y'all winners are out there. So tell us the age and some of your coaching philosophy.
Okay, the age is our youngest kid is 6-year-old boy, and our oldest athlete is 18. My main coaching philosophy is 100%. Just be positive, productive, and perform. The 3 Ps. I tell the kids that all the time. Like, be positive when you come out here. Mm-hmm. Be productive, and perform.
All right.
And if you do that, everything will be good. Mainly more than anything else, effort, positive energy, positive, just atmosphere, everything. That's what.
Now, as an athlete, before you were coaching, and I can only imagine the impact that sports has had on your life. Could you give us some insight for those who are out here? What's some of the impact that you've seen on the students that you coach?
Well, I have a young man who was struggling academically, and I hate to say it, when he's not playing sports, his grades plummet. Mm-hmm. But when you hold do you want to come out here? Do you want to participate? Do you want to show the world your talent? His grades go through the roof. So basically, I've seen that sports can be used as a motivating factor for young men or young women who do not perform at a high level in the classroom. Okay. So that's
all right. So what are some of the ways the community, because you're a small group and you're really giving your athletes the attention they need, what are some of the ways that the community can support you in helping reach these young persons?
That's a good question. Mm-hmm. Community support, just come out, like track meets are all throughout the Washington, D.C. area. You know what I mean? Just come out, support the track, come out, support the kids. Financially, we can always use money. You know what I mean? Like the money will be used strictly for equipment, young people travel, uniforms. So just support, money. That's the main things we can use from the community.
Got it.
Right.
And so once again, can you give us the telephone number and the email? So if somebody wants to email you to figure out the next steps of writing a check to you, can you tell us how to do that again?
Well,
the email?
The email is dcselecttrackclub@gmail.com, all one word. Phone number 202-760-8552.
Now let's talk about the future now. Okay. You've done a lot, and you're reaching these young persons, and they're changing their lives. Their grades are getting better. What's the future looks like for this team?
Great question. And me and my wife are really discussing that at length right now. So currently we are an AAU youth track club. We also participate in USATF track and field. So we've been to Junior Olympics. We've been to the AAU West Coast Junior Olympics in Las Vegas, Orlando, Greensboro, North Carolina, Toronto, Canada. So we've traveled internationally. We've traveled all over the country. So the next step is to take DC Select and have it be a full-fledged summer camp where we show attention to 5 or 6 different sports, not just track and field. So have a DC Select DC Select summer camp where we have elite athletes in tennis, track, 7-on-7 football, gymnastics, and the kids compete. They do camp all day long, but then in the year they all come together, and the season accumulates at the Junior Olympics. So instead of just the track team going to Junior Olympics, all 5 of the teams will be going to Junior Olympics, and we'll have a summer camp to hone these young athlete skills from, May until August.
I love it. I love it. And you said they've already talking about it. So when you talk about something, you're planning it, and when you plan it, is done.
The minute you say something like this on tape, you have to make it happen.
You got to make it happen.
Talk it into existence. That's what
you heard
right
it
now.
here on Coach Connection. We are making sure our young persons are connected to the people that are changing their lives now. The coach. Now, the coach needs your help. So often we drive by and see young people playing baseball, organized, and we see young people that we wish, why aren't they connected to something organized? Well, we need you to help connect them. So once again, you have been connected to the city sports for years. Can you tell us some of the teams you played on and how those teams and those coaches inspired you?
No question. But I wanted to go back to one of your questions earlier, Ms. Tate, about what the community can do for DC Select. So what the community can do for youth athletics, not so much for DC Select, is parents and everybody else who are in positions of power, go speak to your local jurisdictions, school districts, and talk to them about the eligibility rules as far as athletics goes. Because athletics for young men and young women is very, very important for them. And it's shown that kids who do not do well in school, if they're allowed to play athletics, while they are playing athletics, their grades go up. So I'm saying that to say, Mr. Tate, like if a kid gets bad grades, you don't see the school take the violin from the young man or the young woman. If a kid gets a bad grade, you don't see the school take the paintbrush. They will never say, go to your room, you can't paint tonight. They will never say, go to your room, you can't play the guitar tonight. So I want the same respect to be put on sports that are put on the arts.
You heard it here.
You know what I mean? So that's the main thing the community can do. Just appreciate the importance of athletics in young people's lives.
Got it.
So to get to your question about how I came up playing sports.
Yes.
So
and some of those people some of those coaches that you're now coaching because of them. Talk to us.
So the first coach I had was not the first coach I had, but the first coach I had that really made an impact on my life was Coach Neal. And this is crazy that I'm bringing this gentleman up from 30 years ago. Coach Neal is number 6 boys club. We practiced at Rabeau, and we played games at Coolidge. And he was no nonsense. He was about his business. The kids were scared to death of him. You know what I mean? He let the parents know that 99.9% of this young man's life, he belongs to you. You know what I mean? But that 0.1% when he's on his football field and during practice, during the game, he's mine. And that's the same way I am with my athletes. Like I tell my parents, I tell my kids, in 99.9% of your young person's life, you're the boss.
Yes.
But when you decide to come and let me have a young person to help that person develop and be a great athlete, when it comes to the sports, I'm gonna do it. So Coach Neal by far was and he was my first football coach. He was my biggest impact as a coach growing up. Just
30 years.
30 years ago.
I
still remember him. I still remember him.
That is real.
And it's really amazing just coming up back in the late 80s, early 90s in Washington, D.C., and me and my oldest daughter were talking about just the kids on our team and how, I'm not exaggerating, Mr. Tate, it was 40 kids on the team, and 4 of them have been murdered, jail for life. It was a young man who was paralyzed from the neck down, and just to see a lot of those kids, I was blessed to have a father and a mother, you know what I mean? And that's another reason I go back to Neal, to see how, he took those kids in who didn't have that opportunity. And as soon as those kids went away from him, they went down the path of me. So no question, Coach Neal was
so
my
Coach
biggest
connection is
impact.
real, and you see here, this brother has not only been impacted by the coaches here in Washington D.C., but also the coaches that were a part of his life when he went away to university, and he is showing young persons what the world of sports can do by connecting them to. You've mentioned some different states, but you also mentioned, you said Canada, right?
Yeah, Toronto, Canada.
Yeah.
And the plan was to go. COVID hit, and the plan was to go to Bermuda.
Oh,
it was a track meet in Bermuda, and that we missed that in 2020. So
Right.
we tried every single year. We try to do something that the athletes, we don't want to do a track meet more than once. We try to go a place that the athletes have never been, like get a totally original experience. We went to Las Vegas. It was 118 degrees, extremely hot.
Yes.
But it's just, we were there during the Conor McGregor fight, and just not for the fight, of course, but during the same time, during the USA team basketball was out there playing, getting ready for the Olympics, and just having the kids be able to walk. And we jogged at 5 o'clock in the morning, saw the entire strip, and just giving them that experience. It just,
Yeah, it changes their life.
It really, 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 truly does.
So we're asking you now here on Coach Connection to be a part of this team by contributing your time and your earnings. Yes, I'm asking you to make a donation to this organization, because your time and money can help them reach many more young persons as they are striving to make sure our children can compete on the playing field of life.
Right.
So, Coach, thank you. Can you tell us one more time, because I want everybody to know how to reach you?
Okay, DC Select Track and Field Club at gmail.com. And my phone number is 202-760-8552. And again, I don't do personal social media, but in the very near future, DC Select will have social media accounts.
Awesome. Thank you
much.
so much.
Thank you very much.
Coach's Connection, connecting you and the greater DMV to local sports programs, as well as the coaches that inspire our local youth. This show has been brought to you by the Scholar Athlete Sports Network, SASN.TV.